Hello, and welcome back to Too Many Books. My name is Sean, and today we have a Chiroptera Press unboxing. This, my friends, is the Collected H.P. Lovecraft Volume 3. So, if you're not familiar, I imagine you're familiar somewhat with Lovecraft himself, but if you're not familiar with these editions from Chiroptera, these are the Variorum editions. Meaning that it is meant to be the essential edition, collecting all of the details pertaining to all of the variations of the stories over the years, all in one particular edition. It was originally done by Hippocampus. Has artwork here by Karmazid. Karmazid? I've never really... I'm probably pronounced that incorrectly, but that is his dust jacket artwork. This is Volume 3. It's going through chronologically, so Volume 3 is 1931 to 1936. And there should be a fourth volume coming as well. It's compiled by S.T. Joshi, who is a preeminent scholar on all things Lovecraft, all things weird fiction. You might be familiar with the Library of Weird Fiction or the Masters of Weird Fiction's tales that Centipede Press has done with the assistance of S.T. Joshi over the years, or the Weird imprint that Conversation Tree Press has done. They've done 2 volumes thus far. One's actually been published. The second one's been announced, which is also compiled by S.T. Joshi. I mean, the man does not stop working. So yes, originally published in 2017 by Hippocampus Press, which is still available as a trade edition through Hippocampus. So if you want a cheaper edition, this hardcover edition is fully sold out. So if you want this title in just your Variorum edition, then you should go with the Hippocampus edition, which is still available as a paperback. But collecting it here as a hardcover edition is Chiroptera Press on the scene. Here's a nice little introduction from Joshi talking about his different abbreviations and notes, because as I mentioned, he is collecting as much information as he can, including information from autographed manuscripts, ES, which is essential solitude. Solitude? Is it not supposed to be solitude? It says saltuide. I'm pretty sure that might be a typo there. JHL, which is John Hay Library. OFF, O Fortune, Floridian. OM for omitted, SL for selected letters, and TM for typed manuscript. Here we are, starting with the big one, At the Mountains of Madness, one of the most famous stories by Lovecraft. If you're not familiar with Lovecraft, it's, look at those notes, though. Holy crap. That's a third of the page just dedicated to the notes, breaking down the things or the changes that have happened amongst this story across the various publications. Because unfortunately, that's the case with tales that are, 90 years old, is that you are going to have minor changes, minor tweaks with each and every format that you are going to find. You might have some words or spellings that are changed ever so slightly from one to the other. But At the Mountains of Madness, a beautiful little novella that you can actually kind of read. You can find most of this for very cheap. So if you're looking for just a cheap reading copy, this probably isn't it. This is really a version for, I don't want to say scholars. Scholars could certainly look at this one, but I would say those for those who really want to look at the changes that these stories have gone through, kind of the essential editions. This editor's note is longer than the actual paragraph on the page. That's what I mean. If you just want a cheap reading copy, you can find them for very cheap. There's a dime a dozen for various collections of Lovecraft over the years. There are even volumes out there that have all of Lovecraft in a single volume. I know, Barnes & Noble has, some compendium edition. I'm sure Books A Million has a compendium edition. Amazon probably has some crazy compendium. So really, if you're looking for just cheap Lovecraft, you can find cheaper Lovecraft. But I'm excited to dive into this. This is going to be the nicest edition in my collection for Lovecraft. I do have that Barnes & Noble compendium. I do have a forthcoming edition from Weird House Press, which collects his Dreamland stories, if I'm not mistaken. But that's not going to be nearly as fancy as this edition here. And this will be the fanciest until, you get some fine press edition out there. Like, I'm sure Conversation Tree Press, as part of their weird collection, is going to have, I think they have 2 volumes dedicated to Lovecraft, which is well deserved. Those will be just exquisitely fancy, letterpress printed, even nicer paper. But I mean, this right here is very nice paper. It's not, this isn't paper that you're going to scoff at. I mean, if you go to those compendium editions, you're probably going to wind up with the thin Bible paper. But this right here is definitely nothing to avoid. Dedicated to Robert Bloch. How about that? I wouldn't have thought that Robert Bloch and Lovecraft had any correlation between the two of them. Robert Bloch, I think of like Psycho, which was published after Lovecraft's passing. You even have an appendix in the back here. But anyways, Chiroptera Press, they do a very nice job with these titles, with the Lovecraft ones, with their Ted Klein titles. They are pretty much the house of Thomas Ligotti right now. They're just kicking ass left, right, and center. They definitely cigarette characterizations. How about that? Every single piece in here has some sort of illustration from Karmazid, which is just remarkable. But as I was saying, Chiroptera, they originally started off as kind of, they really don't have any relation to Centipede Press, but they very much early on reminded me of Centipede Press in terms of their production standards. Nice cloth boards, a sewn spine binding, little ribbon marker. They're very much in line with some of Centipede Press's titles, but they've kind of made a name for themselves, kind of going off of their own slight different direction, especially with their slipcase titles, which are just absolutely remarkable. Their Lovecraft titles are only available in one edition here with the hardcover. And all 3 volumes thus far are sold out, so you would have to go to the secondary market if you wanted to find a copy. But if you are looking for a nice essential 4-part compendium of H.P. Lovecraft's collected fiction, then you probably should, if you want the nicest editions out there as it currently stands, it's probably going to be these, in my opinion. Like I said, I'm sure there's probably some uber fine press editions that are ultra exclusive. I don't think Arion, Arion, I don't think they've ever done Lovecraft, but they're kind of one that comes to mind where they might have done Lovecraft at some point. They've been publishing books for decades. Centuries would be impressive. Decades, so I'm sure they might have done something over the years. But for me, this is going to be the set to go to. But anyways, check out Chiroptera Press Unboxing. I have a whole playlist of their books on this channel if you want to see more of them. Be sure to subscribe to this channel because I will do an unboxing for Volume 4 and future Chiroptera Press unboxings. I do various unboxings every week, plus at least one book review a week, so plenty for you to check out. But anyways, check out Chiroptera Press, check out the works of H.P. Lovecraft, and we'll see you around next time.